welcome to Brunch with Besties podcast.
Yay, we are here.
I'm Sherry Renee.
And I'm Chanel.
And our mission is to heal and help others as we heal and help ourselves through purpose-driven conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Today we're talking about domestic violence.
Yes, from a survivor.
From a survivor.
Yeah, y'all know we did one from the abuser, but now we got a survivor.
Yes.
And, you know, the survivor's super special because she's my mom.
But before we get into that, we're going to start like we always do with a toast.
With the toast. I'm going to give my toast to all the domestic violence survivors out there. Yes. You know, unfortunately, I know a lot, which is really sad that, you know, I know a handful of people who have gone through situations. But shout out to all of you all who are dealing with that, who are strong enough to get out, to fight, to speak out on it. You all get my toast because you all deserve it. And that's men and women. And people think, you know, men can't be in domestic violence situations, but they can too. So shout out to any survivor, whether what you are.
Definitely.
All right. What about you?
So I was listening to a podcast about podcasting.
What?
I know. But okay, so I was listening to a podcast about podcasting because, you know, this is our craft and I want to get better, right?
True.
It just is
True
what
indeed.
it is. So I started at the end just to see what it was about, but then my plan was to start from the beginning and go back. But what ended up happening was I played the last episode and the guy sounded like he was getting ready to break.
Oh my goodness.
Like he was like, this is the last episode that I'm doing because, you know, while I was so involved in working on this podcast and other endeavors, he said, I came back from a show and my wife was gone with my kids. And apparently she had been saying, like, you're not here. You're not invested. Like, where's my husband? And where's my kid's father? And I guess he wasn't hearing her. So she left.
She had to show him.
Yes.
That's crazy.
She left. And he was asking people for prayer. Like, I was crying listening to this man.
Goodness.
Because, you know, when men cry, right.
Take
like,
you out.
Right. So I was not like, oh my God, Lord, please. I was praying for him.
Oh my
now,
goodness.
mind you, this episode is older. But so I don't know what happened. Did they get back together? Did they not? But he was like, I take time off because I got to go get my family back. And he was like, she said it's over, but I have to at least try because they mean so much to me. So my toast is to him just for bringing that awareness and coming back on and telling why he left. Because, you know, a lot of times we get so wrapped up in our own things that we don't realize what's really important. And, you know, like I said, my grandmother, when she died, she had authored books. She had done all of this stuff. But on her deathbed, she never said, oh, I wish I would have made New York Times bestseller. No, she said, tell everybody I love them. Like it was about relationship.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we have our priorities
mixed up. All mixed up. And wow, good for him for using his platform in that manner. And being vulnerable on air. And I think sometimes people want to show these characters of themselves and not be their real selves on their platform.
Right. Exactly.
So shout out to him for doing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's break bread. What's going on, girl?
Girl, I'm tired in a mug. Like, there is not another way to say that. Man, God He gives you exactly what you pray for. So, you know, I was praying for a new position, praying to not have to teach anymore. And he gave me exactly what I prayed for. But I'm thankful for it. I'm blessed. I really do enjoy what I'm doing. But it's been a lot of meetings and board presentations and just staying late at school. But hey, it's what I prayed for. Yeah. And it's been an experience, but I'm tired. I'm like, we need day off. Like, where's the break? Cause I'm a little tired right now, but hey, it is what it is. I'm thugging it out. I'm hanging in there. And I'm learning every day. So I'm excited to go to work. It's never a day where I'm just like, do I really need this job? So, so I'm going and I'm excited. And, yeah, my boss just came to me the other day, like, let's go on this trip to Nashville to like see some other schools that are thriving. So I'm like, I'm with it. Let's go.
Yeah,
so I'm glad,
cool.
You know, she continues to pour into me and show me that, you know, I can do this. So it's been dope.
That's good. That's really good. I'm very proud of you.
Oh,
very,
thanks,
very,
Mommy.
very proud of you.
Yay.
There's nothing like your mom telling you that.
I guess it's okay. I can be tired. My mom thinks it's dope. I like that. Thank you. Thank you.
You got what you asked for.
I did.
Hey,
I really did. I did. And, you know, shout out to Sherry Renee, too, because I text her the other day, like, dude, I got to do his board presentation. I'm tired. She like, you gonna do good. You talk all the time.
I'm like, girl, you better get in there and use your gift.
And I did. I, like, killed it. Like, after the board meeting, the board members are like, wow, that was really great.
I kind of live vicariously through you, too. I'll just be doing it. And I'm like, when I grow up, I'm going to be like Chanel and shit.
That is funny. And look at us. We looking for like a more grown person. Right. We really grown. Right. But no, what's up with you? What's going
Girl,
on?
So I, on the other hand, have not been going to work.
Right. Y'all, I text Sherry. She like, yeah, I didn't go to work today. I was like,
yeah, I've been catching up on Suits and like just binge watching, getting my step in. Oh, so I won the step challenge.
You did.
Yes.
You came in first
Girl,
place.
yes, I had my ankle all wrapped up.
How many steps did you have to take to get in first place?
Oh my God, like 70,000 or something stupid. It was crazy. Let me see, but I think it was like
her
70,000.
little group is she in with my sorors. Clearly,
Yes.
I'm not in it because I'm not up to par with this walking extreme sport. I'm not in that. But yeah, they walk like 17,000 like steps a day. Like it's crazy.
78,961 steps.
Wait, read that again one more time.
78,961.
That is crazy.
So today I just took the Fitbit off. I don't want to see the Fitbit.
Because I ain't taking no
Look,
steps.
I'm probably never going to win another work week hustle challenge. I just wanted one.
Hey.
After this, I just want to get in my 10,000 a day and call it a day.
Call it one.
That's it.
You did that though. 78.
Yeah, so I had to take off work so I can get my steps in. I'm just playing.
I was walking for 8 hours straight.
No, but I was binge watching and on my treadmill, like
getting it in.
Yeah, and then also I went to go see Barack Obama
You did.
on Friday, so I was excited about that. That's an amazing man. Like
he's a very amazing man. I don't know why Trump tried to put himself in that position with him.
We don't say that name on this pod. He's 45. There you go.
0, whatever.
Right.
I don't know why he puts himself in that position with him because he can't.
Right, he can't. And it was just so many emotional moments, you know, when I went, because number one, I just always just wanted to be in a room with him, you know, like that alone was enough for me. But, you know, listening to them speak, and actually Mandela, one of the things that he said, he was, you know, talking about the importance of voting, and he was like, remember, when you vote, do it for the people who can't. And he talked about all the black men that are in prison right now or that have felonies. And y'all know my dad has a felony. Can't even vote. Right. So, and then, you know, he just talked about all of our undocumented people that are here that can't vote. Like, you know, just the importance of doing it. And one of the things that Obama said was, he was like, what ruins our democracy is our indifference. You know, not picking a side. Just not even going to the polls. And I was like, you want an offering too.
Listen, you came to say a word, huh? Listen, it looks amazing. He still looks very handsome, and it looks great. So shout out to our forever president, Barack Obama, for being in Milwaukee. And shout out to Mandela Barnes, who is running for lieutenant governor, which is really awesome. So yeah, y'all. And, you know, we ain't trying to tell y'all who to vote for, but definitely go vote for somebody.
Yes, get out there and do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Time for our tip. So we are reading Becoming, speaking of the Obamas, by Michelle Obama.
Listen.
Use our free 30-day Audible trial, www.audibletrial.com/BWB. BWB is in Brunch with Besties. The link is always in our show notes.
Yep.
And now it's time for tea time.
Yep.
And as we mentioned, and as you guys heard, we have a special guest here with us today.
My mama here, Penny D.
Yes, Penny D, our biggest supporter.
Yes.
She is here in the flesh, and she's going to talk about domestic violence, so stay tuned for that. Alrighty, today we have a special guest.
Yes. You can tell this guest listens to the show.
Yes, yes.
Like daughter, like mama.
For sure, yep.
Yes, Chanel's mom is in the building.
Yes,
hey.
yes. Penny D is here.
Penny D is here.
I'm here.
The mother of Brunch with Besties.
Yes.
One of the mothers.
One of the mothers of Brunch with Besties
Yes.
is in the building. Alrighty, so today we're talking about domestic violence.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So
Yes.
this was a perfect conversation to have.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Mama Penny, for coming
Thank y'all
through.
for having me.
Yay.
Can't wait.
I know, right? This is going to be good. So I'm excited.
So last year on episode 12, we talked about domestic violence from the perspective of the abuser, but now we want to hear from a survivor.
For sure.
Yes.
And that's exactly what I am.
Amen.
I am a survivor
Yes.
of every kind of domestic violence there is. Sexual, physical, emotional, all of it. So,
Wow. Okay.
ask away.
All
We're
right.
about to get into it. Well, then let's start from the beginning. So, when is your earliest memory of any type of abuse?
In the womb.
In
Of
the
my
womb.
mother.
Okay. So,
Yeah,
what happened
explain.
in the womb?
And when I say that, it's because of my father not being a part of my life until
Okay.
I was maybe 20, I think. Nope. Maybe 19.
Okay.
That's when he came back.
Well, you're an adult then.
Yeah.
I'm an adult.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
Okay.
That was the earliest memory.
So then, did your mom did she experience any type of abuse with him?
I'm not sure because we, at that time my mother had passed. So
Okay.
we didn't really get into a conversation about what, when, and how.
Okay.
So,
But did you ever experience your mom having any instances of domestic violence with her husband? Because she was married to somebody else, not my mom's dad, but she was married. So do you ever remember seeing them kind of argue or fight or
argue
anything
and,
like that?
she was a lefty like me, but he would always grab her by the right. And she would swing on him with the left. So, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So you grew up kind of seeing that dynamic.
Right.
Okay. All right.
So then, what was the earliest memory that you have of your own personal?
That happened with my stepfather. I think I must have been about maybe 4.
Okay. So
And my mother had a 1-bedroom apartment, and I can remember him being in a closet and with his penis out. Right. So that was my earliest memory of abuse from him.
So what would he do? Is he watching you or?
Yeah, he was watching.
And you were 4 years old?
About 4. Yep.
Interesting. That makes me wonder, like, was he a pedophile of some sort? Or
I'm gonna say he was.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna say he was, because when you marry somebody, to me, and they have kids, you're supposed
Right.
to be a father figure.
Yes.
Not a father, because I already had a father, but a father figure.
Yes.
And he was never that. Not at all.
Okay.
Did your mom know?
Nope.
No.
I told my mother right before she passed. And my mother passed when I was 19.
Okay.
So that was another form of abuse for me, because I felt that by me telling her, she died. So
Oh, really?
So you felt that.
I felt responsible
for her death?
for her death.
Really?
So I lived with that
Wow.
for years.
So it was kind of like a trigger.
Right.
Well, you think it was a trigger?
It was a trigger.
Wow.
It was.
So what happened to her?
My mother died with childbirth
Okay.
at 38
Okay. So she was pregnant.
with
And then
a
she-
baby with my stepfather.
Okay.
And she went into a depression because she didn't want to have a baby with him, another baby with him. And plus, my sister was pregnant at the same time.
Okay.
So, yeah. My mother passed. Well, the baby passed first, and then my mother passed.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. You got a lot of.
Yeah,
It is.
that is
It's
a lot.
very layered here.
It
It's
is.
very layered, but like I said, I could stay a victim, or I can be a survivor.
Absolutely,
Amen
for
to that.
sure. Yeah.
True indeed.
And with this last relationship I was in, it triggered something, and it kind of made me think, okay, well, here I am again going through another episode of abuse in a way, because it wasn't just an emotional thing. So that
Yeah.
triggered, something, and I kind of went into a depression for a minute, staying in the house, go to work, come home, be at home, and, yeah, that was it. So,
Right. It's like a functional
Right.
depressed person. Yeah,
Right.
I can totally relate with that.
Yeah, and I think you know what, I think we all can in that moment when you're in a relationship for as long as you were. So to give some background on that, we kind of jumped, but that's okay because you brought it up. So here we are. But you were in a long-term relationship for 18 years, like on. So from the time I remember from the time I was in like 6th or 7th grade until now, I'm 31 now. I'll be 32 soon. So they were together that whole time.
Right.
So to be with somebody for that amount of time, the depression once that ended is warranted because that's all you know. And for that person to kind of walk out of your life, it's just like, okay, now what? What do I do now? How do I function
Well, it's a
without
significant
this?
change.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's a
Because
big
everything that was normal is
gone.
totally different now.
Right.
For sure. For sure.
I mean, he was there. We were not in a relationship for the past 14 years, even though we were together for 18. But I had got used to him just being there.
Yes.
So when he decided that this is not what he wanted to do anymore, which was fine, but it's a way to do things.
Right.
And
Yeah.
he didn't do it in that way because I had got used to him cutting the grass and doing the snow, and if something broke down in the house, he was there to fix it. I got used to that part of him.
Yes.
So when he left, it's like, okay, so what do I do now?
Right.
If something breaks, who gonna fix that?
Right.
I ain't
Exactly.
going out there and shoveling no snow, and I'm not cutting no grass.
Go ahead and
And
preach.
even though he said he would do it, I had to say, Lord, I'm sorry. I have to wash my hands. It's a done deal.
Yeah.
I don't want to be bothered.
Right.
Don't come and knock on the door. Don't call. We're done.
So then what was the straw that broke the camel's back?
The straw that broke the camel's back with him was he was still seeing his baby mama. You can't
Okay.
do that. Not in my lifetime.
Right.
So,
So then how did you find out? that he
Right.
was
How do you
seeing-
know that?
it had to do with a sexual thing that happened. And
Okay.
if you're going to be out there cheating, you need to cover it up because then you bring stuff back home.
Amen.
So
Yeah.
that's how I knew.
Okay. Well, that's another. If you want to, to me, that's sexual abuse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because
I
I don't
feel like
know.
that's another level.
Yeah.
Of abuse.
But see, I had got to the point I had got so comfortable with him because before she came back in the picture, we were good. We were going out. He would take me out. He was buying me flowers. He would buy me stuff for Sweetest Day. He was buying me diamonds. He was doing the things that a man was supposed to do. And then when she came back in the picture, everything just changed.
So he changed his pattern.
I don't mind. You have a baby with this woman.
Right.
So, of course, you're supposed to take care of your baby. But that don't mean that you kick me to the curb because something changed for you.
Right.
So, it is what it is, and he did what he did, and here we are.
Right. So then, okay. So when you found out about him basically cheating, then how did you deal with that internally? Was it so? A long time ago, when I had a boyfriend that cheated on me, I couldn't break up with him right then and there because I was too involved emotionally. So it became like an ongoing fight. And then he did something real stupid that I don't even know what it was, and I was like, I'm done with you because I just needed
He would
something.
always come and tell me, "Well, I'm moving. I just need more space." Okay, and that was my answer. Okay, but he would
okay.
never go anywhere. So when he said he was leaving this last time, it was like, okay. I had no idea he was really leaving, but because that was his pattern. I'm leaving, and I need more space, and my kids need this, that, and the other, and okay, we
Okay.
good.
Right.
I mean, I'm human. So, like I said, to be in a relationship for 18 years and then you just up and leave, my heart
Yeah.
was hurting. I'm doing better now,
Right.
but my heart, and nobody couldn't tell me, you need to get over there. Da, 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 da. I got 18 years to
Right. Yeah.
purge this person out of my system.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And not only that, but to walk through the stages, because that's pretty much a death of a relationship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
So you got to go through the denial, the anger, the
And the way he
emotional hurt, all
did
of
it, when he came and he bought his place, and he was like, well, I got 90 days, for the people to move out. Is it okay if I stay here? That's fine. You still got to pay rent. But then when that day came, he just packed up a little stuff in his car, and he was gone. No boxes. No, I got to pack up this stuff, and he was just gone.
Just gone.
And I'm sitting there like, okay.
Do you think it was?
It was another woman.
Okay.
You can say what you want to say, but as a woman, you have instinct, you have gut feelings.
Yeah.
So it was another woman because he did me the same way when me and him got together. He was living with a woman. He decided that, okay, well, if I'm going to deal with her, then I got to get my own place.
Okay.
So he went and got him an apartment. And the next time I saw him, which was a year later, he told me, he said, well, I got my own place. I'm like, that's good. And I went and sat on the bus because he was a bus driver.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so this is his pattern.
This is his pattern.
Yeah.
Which is okay. So I guess I'll interject myself because this is my mom, and I'm familiar with some stuff. Like a lot of this stuff is kind of new to me because I'm that old school type of kid where I don't ask a lot of questions unless it's brought to my attention. So I'm not like in my mama's business because it's not my place. But hearing some of this and the stuff that I do know, it does. And her and I have had this conversation too, where it was just really like, you know, we gonna have this heart to heart, and I'm gonna tell you that, you know, I get you're hurt, and you're is valid. You have every right to be hurt. You have every right to go through all the emotions. However, people show you who they are the whole
really
time.
Yeah.
So
red flags.
So absolutely, that's what I was getting at. So those red flags, and to see like, oh, well, this is how our relationship started, and I knew that that's what he was doing. And I feel like there were so many times, like growing up, where he would just show his true colors, and you know, he would leave and he would come back, and it's just like, but why? I get the why now because I've gone through my own relationships and things like that. But as a kid, I really couldn't understand, like, just leave him alone. Like, tell him he cannot come back. Like, this is this is toxic. And as a kid, like, I knew it was. Like, I knew this wasn't a normal type of relationship.
Right.
As an adult, then I got it. Because once your heart is vested in it and you're invested, it's hard to walk away. Yes. It's hard to just be, like, walking away. Listen.
You gonna do everything that you swore you would never do.
All of
Twice.
it. 2 times.
I said that when I
For
got
sure.
with him. When I met him and I told him, if it doesn't work out, I'm done. I can't. My feelings are involved, and I can't keep letting people like you come at me like that. I will kill you.
Right.
That's not a nice thing to say, but that's the way I feel.
Right. Yeah.
So the best thing for me to do is to just stay away from you, period. I was doing fine. God has brought me a long way. And when I say a long way, because at first I didn't care. I just wanted to lay on my couch and be depressed.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to eat chocolate, potato chips, drink my Pepsis, and just lay on the couch and be depressed. But then I thought about it. I'm sitting here depressed.
And
This
he
fool
living
done went
on
back
his
up-
life.
Right, living his best life.
Best life. And it takes you to have that realization that, like, you know, this person don't care.
He don't. He didn't. Because, like I said, I have a home. And when he got with me, the thing was, we're going to fix this house up. We're going to rent this house out. And then we're going to get something else.
Right.
I was nowhere in that equation when he bought this place that he's in now.
Okay.
Nowhere.
Right. So he wasn't doing a long-term planning that you were doing.
No.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Thinking back, I mean, this episode is about domestic violence. Was there any of that in this relationship? Now, I know my answer on the outside looking in as your kid, but did you feel like there were any? Like any?
oh no. As far as
like verbal abuse?
Verbal, he tried verbal because
Yeah.
I've gained some weight. I'm finna be 60 years old.
Shouts out to Mama Penny for about to be 60.
Yes.
Walking up in here with her lipstick on, all fine and stuff.
Her ripped jeans. Big, oh, yeah.
To be almost 60.
I did not know you was almost 60.
Yeah, I'm finna
Yeah.
be 60 next year.
Lord.
I think I look good for
You
almost
do.
60.
Yeah, you do.
But he was telling me, oh, you done gained weight. You don't look like yourself. You done got fat. Look at you. So that played a role in my psyche because I'm looking in the mirror at myself and like, what is he seeing? Because I'm not seeing that.
Right.
You telling me I'm fat? Yeah, I got a little stomach. But, you know, I had my young girl body when I was in my teens, in my 20s, I was a size 7 with that girl dag body.
Right.
Now I'm in my grown woman body. And
Right.
you gotta
Hey.
take it as it is.
Right.
And I'm sure he changed over the years as well. So it's funny how people like perception of you, but you like what's your perception of
Right.
yourself?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
He was
he
telling
changed.
me how selfish. I'm immature. You know, a lot of stuff he was saying. I don't think I'm selfish because I would give you the shirt off my back if you asked me for it. If I thought that you needed whatever, I'm gonna be there for you. So it was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah. And I can agree to those cases of like the verbal abuse. Like I really felt like he was very like he could be very negative and condescending at times. And, you know, I don't want to throw nobody under the bus because, you know, people listen to our episodes and people know us, and that's fine. But this is our perception of what was happening in this relationship and in this house. So to keep it 100, it was very like condescending, and it was hard for me as your child to watch you go through that, especially for the simple fact that I know how strong my mom is.
Right.
Like, I know this woman.
Right.
And to see her kind of... Now, don't get me wrong. Like, my mama got her mouth. So she would go back with him like, hey, you ain't gonna talk to me like that. I feel like she got a tongue. So she will cuss you out in a minute. But there were times where I do feel like he kind of defeated you in that manner where you would kind of get sad and he would say something to you and he would get sad about it. And then and it was crazy because he really felt comfortable saying it in front of your kids too. So it was really like, bro, like you taking this too far. And I know like while I was living there as a teenager, you know, there really wasn't much I can do. Like I was just like, okay, like let me just stay out of it. But once I got grown and I think I moved back, like me and him really was like, no. And y'all know me, like I'm the nicest person ever. Like it takes a lot for me to get there. So I was just like, dude, you irritated. Like, you're not going to keep doing this. You're not going to keep talking to my mom like this. Like, I don't like this behavior. It's negative. It's toxic. So then him and I had gotten to it, and I was just like, y'all know what? Like, I got to be out of here. Like, I have to remove myself from this toxic environment. But yeah, so that definitely was hard to watch. And I'm sure anybody who has a parent or have had a parent who has been like in a abusive relationship or a toxic relationship, you see that. And as kids, you know, it puts a part into you too.
I think it's because, you know, we all put our parents on a pedestal so much. And, you know, especially as a child, your mom can do no wrong.
Yeah.
Your mom has done everything. Like, she's like this unbreakable super mom.
Yes.
And so when you see somebody just straight up disrespect and demean her, you literally want them to die.
Yes, like, yes. There
You're
were
like,
times,
hold on.
yes, in middle school where I was just like, I
I'ma
just
kill
want him to
Right.
disappear. Like, go away. Like, you're ruining our lives.
And that's really bad because you didn't feel comfortable enough to come to me
Yeah.
and tell me that.
Yeah, no. And I was definitely not going to, because I felt like there were times where you all would have your bad moments, but then there were times where you would be completely happy with him. And it was just like, who am I to kind of ruin that? But there were times like he would do certain stuff and I would just be like, why is he here? Like, you just taking up space.
But
like,
you
we
know
don't
what?
need you here.
Dejurian asked me the same thing. Dejurian was like, Mumu, why is he here?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But it really came to head for me when I heard y'all podcast. And you and Sherry was doing a conversation about her stepfather. And she was saying how wonderful this man is and blase skippy this. And it made me go back and think. I had this man around my kids for 18 years. 18 years, he watched Dejurian come into the world. He watched Dallas and Dalen come into the world. He watched Lil Mike come into the world. He never brought his kids around me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, the older two that live in Tennessee, when they would come, they would come and stay in my house.
Right.
Him, you know, the wife and him and their kids.
What?
He never brought his kids around me.
Yeah.
And his excuse was, well, they grown, you know, and they doing their thing and blase skippy this, but it was okay for you to be around my kids.
Right. And be engaged in your
In
life.
my life.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think
But see,
Sherry,
I
you
see
asked Sherry, now you asked that last time, like, do you and his kids like hang out? And it was just like, no. Like, never.
And I mean, and even with this last kid he got with this woman. That woman is, and I hate people to do that, because if you sitting up talking about this woman to me, you sitting up, sitting around telling this woman all my business.
Right.
She has no business knowing anything.
Yeah.
Because when my kid's father came here, my kid's father knows nothing about him. Mm-hmm. But yet and still this woman knows stuff about me that she should not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then you got this boy looking at me rolling his eyes. Because you sitting up talking crazy to a kid.
Right.
And I know something wrong with him because the last time I talked to him, he gonna tell me, well, this boy calling his mama all kind of bitches. Mm-hmm. So what he expect? He calling her all kind of bitches. What kind of parenting skills is that?
Right. Like, why is that okay?
Mm-hmm. So I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So,
red flags. I mean, I had red flags from the beginning with him. I can remember me and him had got into it once, and he was going up the stairs, and he turned back and looked at me, and if it wasn't the devil himself looking at me, and I had to do a double take like this, I'm like, oh, okay. But
so why do you think you ignored the signs?
because you want to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
You want somebody to love you. Mm-hmm. You want that intimacy.
Right.
And that was my reason. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm old now. This is going to be it. We're going to have our moments, but we're going to be together. That was my thought. His thought was totally different.
Yeah.
So.
Did you ever believe the negative things that he said about you?
No.
No. Okay.
Mm-mm. I mean, you know, when you're in a relationship for that long, and before him, I hadn't been in a relationship for 10 years.
Okay.
So I don't do that jumping in and out of relationships. Right. That's not what I do. Mm-hmm. So when he came along, and he was so persistent with pursuing me, till he would come to the job and bring me lunch. He would make sure I got home. He was just doing everything to reel me in at that particular time. So I'm like, okay, let me break down the wall a little bit. I'm going to let him in a little bit.
Right.
So I let him in a little bit. Mm-hmm. And that's when he was the diamond earrings and the bracelets and the crystal and all kind of stuff he was doing. So I let him in a little bit more. I'm like, well, maybe he is the one.
Right.
So I let my heart get into it.
Right.
And that's when here's the part you take my heart to wipe your feet on.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Oh, Penny want a record deal.
Right. Oh, you sang it, huh?
You know what? I am just doing wonderful here. I'm so happy I can laugh about this.
Yeah.
If you would have got me like 3 weeks ago, I'd have been.
Yeah, no, time is real, man. Time heals all.
But not only time, but I think perspective too.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? Because when you're in it, then it's your feelings and it's how you feel about it and it's how long you invested and how come he did this to me and why this and how come he couldn't just do that, you know, and why was you gonna pursue me so daggone hard to just go here and throw my daggone what you say, fumble my heart?
Right. Don't fumble my heart, bro. Yes, for sure.
And I listened to Sarah Jake Roberts. Everything must go. Everything must go. So she has helped me come a long way.
Amen.
Just for listening to Sarah Jake Roberts. Shout out to her.
Yeah, we have to tag her because you do. She listens to it like every day. Like that same sermon.
That's my sermon to get me through. If I'm feeling down, I pop her in.
Yeah.
And she got this new one, Assembly Required. So I just started listening to that one too. But Sarah Jake Roberts has got me through this breakup session that I'm going through. And when she talk, everything must go. God don't make no mistakes.
Right.
God took him out of my house for a reason. And I appreciate that.
Right.
Because if he had stayed there, I'd have still been going to my room, shutting the door, eating chips, drinking Coca-Cola, and being depressed. So I'm good.
Right.
Yeah, and you can use this platform to share and pour into somebody else who might be going through this same
I listen
exact
to y'all
thing.
podcast, and I'm thinking about your friend Bridget. Is that her name?
Bridget. She was on here. Yes.
And what she was going through with the guy that she was dating and found out he had somebody.
Rebecca.
Oh, okay, I was like, Bridget. I'm like, her coffee, his tea, Bridget. But no, Rebecca.
Okay, well, Rebecca.
Okay.
This is for you. Let go.
Amen.
He showed you all kind of signs that you were not the one for him. There is somebody out there for you. Let go. Let him do him. Move on, because what you going back for?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. What you going
If it
back
wasn't there
for?
in the beginning, it ain't going to be there in the end. So let it go.
Mama Penny want an offering up in here. She preaches.
It's a word.
It's a word today.
Words with Mama Penny. Listen. No, that's definitely good. I do want to go back a little bit because there was another episode or instance of domestic violence with you. And this happened when I was younger.
Oh,
so if you want to tell that story.
I was dating this guy.
So how old were you?
Chanel, how old
I was like...
He was like 6.
6 or 7? So I was pretty young.
So I had to be like 30, maybe 32, 33.
Yeah.
And dating this guy, he moved in and...
He moved in? I don't even remember him living with us.
Yeah, he was living there for a minute.
Oh.
But I have this thing of picking up strays, so to speak. People that need help. And, he had, moved in. I had a dog, Midnight. And he took my dog somewhere. I don't even know today where he took that dog. And I guess he was going to get rid of the dog because my dog did not like him. But when he would come, my dog would just start barking real crazy. So he took the dog and he went somewhere with the dog. But the dog came back. And the lady down the street, she was like, Penny, is that your dog? And I'm like, no, my dog is in the house. He in the basement. Sure enough, it was my dog. So when he took the dog again, my dog didn't come back. So I think he killed my dog. This person, I told him, I said, we're done. I can't do this no more. You doing your thing, and I just can't. You out here with in this drug life, and this is not something I want to do. So he called himself leaving, which he didn't. He had put a hole in the wall where he can peek in the bathroom. So I'm like, okay, this fool didn't put a hole in the wall. He peeking in, and he knew my every move that day. So I went out to the bar, did a little drinking, a lot of drinking. Came home, got in my bed, had no idea this man was in my house. I was knocked out. When I woke up, this arm right here was bruised, black and blue, from the top all the way down. I had just got my head did, and I did like this, and it was nothing but blood. My face was totally swelled up. This eye was just swollen. My lip was swollen. My tooth was out. This lip was split. Goodness. And my face was just swollen. I couldn't do nothing but climb up the stairs, knock on the door. My landlord answered the door, and that's all I remember. When I woke up again, the police and the paramedics was at my house. It was blood from my bedroom to the kitchen.
Oh, my God.
All the way up the stairs. Whatever he beat me with, I still don't know to this day. But it left me blind in the left eye.
Really? Oh, my goodness.
I had to have stitches in my mouth. I had stitches all under the eye. I had gashes in my head where my head had to be stapled back together. So, yeah.
And hearing that, hearing that story, I remember it a little bit, but I don't remember a lot of it because again, I was just a little kid at that time, and
my daughter Nikki came home, and all she saw was blood everywhere. My mattress was soaked. The pillow was soaked. So she went screaming down the street to get some friends that I had went out with, and brought them back, and nobody knew where I was. The guy came back to the house. Right before they was putting me in the ambulance, he came back and he told them that I called him and told him that somebody broke in the house. And I said, oh, he did it. And how he got caught was he went to his sister's house, changed out of the bloody clothes, put him in her attic, and she told him.
Oh, thank God that the sister told him.
She told him.
Because that, to me, sounds like an attempt to murder.
It was attempted murder, but they charged him with aggravated battery.
Which is so terrible with, how... Okay, I have two thoughts, and I'm going to go back because I got chills right now. But I was saying how I don't really remember all of those details, so hearing it is like, kind of takes my breath away. Hearing how that happened. I do remember, this must have been when you came out of the hospital, and you had got home, and we were away. Like, I think I was with Rose. I don't know where Nikki was, but I was with somebody. But then, Rose was trying to keep my mind off of what was going on at home. Right. And God bless, rest her soul, man. I love her. But she had took me to the candy store. Was like, get whatever you want. Like, let's just have fun. Like, really trying to take.
She just wanted you to be a kid.
Just be a kid and not really have to deal with what was going on at our house. But I remember going home and my mom was like, no, like, I don't want them to see me like this. Like, she did not want us to see her that way. Which is great because I don't remember her like that. And I'm glad that you did that to be like, no, like, I don't want my kids to see me look like this at this moment. Because I don't remember that. And I think if I would have seen that, I would have felt differently about my mom. Like, I would have really been like, oh, my God. But seeing her, remembering her the way that she was, it was just like, this is great because I don't have any memory of that time.
Right.
But yeah, and then I was gonna say I'm getting lost right now, but and then after that, it was just crazy because she really bounced back. Like, family and stuff would come in and out and kind of help out. I remember that a little bit, but she never missed a beat. Like, in all of that, like raising two kids and all of that stuff that had happened. But thank God for alcohol and going out with your friends because that saved your life.
Doctors even told me that if I hadn't have been drinking like I was that night, that I would have bled to death.
Yeah.
So the drinking actually slowed my bleeding down.
Wow.
I never wanted my kids to
go
through
I'm glad that you woke up when you woke up because, man.
I never wanted my kids to go through anything that I'm going through. If somebody, and I would always ask them too, who touched you? Who did this, that, and the other? Were you this, that, and the other? And I thank God that nobody sexually assaulted either one of my kids or physically abused either one of my kids, because I probably would be in jail right now.
You probably been killed them.
Because the mind can only take so much. And sometimes I have days where I'm good and sometimes I'm not. But like I said, God is working on me, and I thank him for that. I really do. I thank him.
So what led up to... Okay, so you said that he put a hole in the bathroom, so I'm assuming that it was some type of control thing where he just wanted to know...
But that's what I think with all of them. With every guy I've dealt with, it's always been a control thing, because I'm going to do me. You can't tell me what to do. You can ask me, and I might do it, but this is just me. I've been on my own since I was 19 years old. So it's always just been me taking care of me.
Right.
Now, if we're in a relationship and you say, well, babe, I'm going to need you to do X, Y, and Z, it's the way you say it.
Right.
Don't come at me like I'm a little kid. I ain't been a little kid in a long time.
Right.
You're not my father. You can't tell me what I can and cannot do.
Right.
What I can and cannot wear. Even in this last relationship, he told me, before it's all done with, you're going to do what I say. We're going to see about that one, buddy.
Right.
You better go to 154th and Kedzie in Illinois. Go stand by Beverly Faber grave. That's my mama. And ask her.
Right.
And if she can, she going to tell you, not that one, because she hard-headed as I don't know what. I had to throw a shoe at her a couple of times. So, yeah.
So then, was he ever physically abusive before then?
Nope.
So he snapped. Do you know if he was on any alcohol or drugs?
Yeah, he was on drugs. Sure.
Okay.
Yep, he was on both of them. And the it's not funny, but I can remember being in the hospital excuse me, and my friends came, and they was like trying to take my kids, and then his sisters they came, and my family was there, and I remember his sister saying, "Well, we'll take the kids home," and I just heard my sister just snap.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, "No, you're not taking my nieces nowhere. You better be lucky we ain't trying to whoop y'all up in this hospital for what your brother just did to my sister. Are you crazy?"
Right.
So, yeah, it was a big thing.
Yeah. So then you come back home. Now you got to be a mom, try to go back to normal. How did you transition back into normal life? So at that time he was in jail, right? Yeah. So then did you feel safe?
Yeah, take us through the steps after that.
I actually did feel safe. I actually did. It wasn't like I was scared of him in the first place. He did what he did to me while I was asleep.
Right. Yeah.
So he came in there.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty
cowardly.
Yeah.
And did what he did. Because he know that if I had been woke, it'd have been a whole totally different story.
Yeah.
I ain't scared of nobody.
Right.
And you're not finna do what you want to do to me.
Right.
So he did. He knew that.
But after that, because we used to live on the east side, so this happened when we lived on the east side.
Right.
But after that, I do think you took the necessary precautions to get us up out of that environment, and maybe that was like because I don't think he was in jail for a long time.
He was not.
Yeah,
less than a year.
Yeah, it was like a very short period of time that he was sent to jail. And I just remember us like moving, and this was at the time where I think. At this time, no, we moved over there when I was in like fourth grade. No, like fifth grade, fifth grade. But I didn't want to go. Yeah, I was like, I'm not moving. Like everything I know is on this side of town. Like I love it over here. Like I love my school. Like I'm gonna go live a Rose, and y'all can go. Because I don't want to leave my environment. But I think you were very precautious to be like, okay, I got to get my kids up out of this environment, and that could be hard. Something so traumatic happening in this house, that we can't stay here because now. Our safety and our peace of mind is gone away from this house. So it was necessary to be like, okay, well, I'm going to go unlisted. Like, you can't look up my number. Like, I'm really going to try to remove myself so that, when he does get out, like, you can't come back here or I will kill you.
Well, he never tried to, he's never tried to get in contact with me again. I talked to his sister. It's been some years now, and he was with some woman, and I think he was a pedophile to her grandkids or kid or whoever it was, and he was in jail again for some other domestic violence situation. So
that's what I was gonna say. There should be like extreme, and it's hard with domestic violence because you have those cases where there is violence and then the women go back. Whatever the case may be,
they drop the charges,
or they dropped absolutely all of those things. But for somebody who this was legit attempted murder to do less than a year. Like, with all the evidence is right here. Like, I told you it was him.
And then he tried to cover it up.
Yeah, like, you come back to the crime scene.
And you lied about it.
Yeah, like, that is attempted murder. Like, no, you gotta go.
I feel like people are doing more time for, like, selling drugs.
Not even selling it, but having weed.
Yeah.
Like, you could go to jail for, like, a couple years. But to almost kill somebody, and this person has children... And to think
again, he didn't think about my kids
at all.
Like this other one, you didn't think about my kids.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what our life would be like if you wouldn't have pulled. I don't even want to think about what life would have been like if you wouldn't have pulled through that. And I guess that's why I put you on the pedestal the way that I do because you could not be here right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm very.
I consider myself, and I don't mean to brag or boast, but I consider myself a very strong woman because a lot of women I don't think could handle half of the stuff I've been through.
Yeah. I wouldn't think so.
I don't think so.
I live by that saying. We all put our problems and our issues in a pile, and what we've gone through in a pile, we're going to pick ours back up because I'm not picking up nobody else's.
Right.
So were there any red flags with him?
There probably was. And matter of fact, there was. One of my friends introduced me to him because she was dating his brother-in-law at the time, and he came in again, being all nice and cool and just doing what I asked him to do, and then everything just went to the left. Especially when I found out what kind of drugs and stuff he was using. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I can't do that, not around my kids.
Right.
I wasn't doing drugs, so why am I going to be bothered with something like that? So, again, there probably was red flags coming on, but I wanted to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in one now, but I wanted to be in a relationship. I wanted somebody to, when you don't have that love, your father is supposed to be your first love. Mm-hmm. And I say that because your father is the one to set the standards for how a man is supposed to treat you. Mm-hmm. So when you don't have that, you look for it in all the wrong places.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not funny, but that's how I handle my emotions. So instead of crying, I laugh about
We
stuff.
just laugh at inappropriate moments
all
on
the
this
time.
show.
Yes, when we really should be crying, but we laugh at it. So guys, don't get it twisted. This is very emotional, but I think that totally shows up in the way I date and the way I love and the way I show my heart, because my dad is not around. Right. Which might be another episode. I think I'm gonna reach out to him, but that's another episode.
I didn't want this last relationship, like I said, he's not her father, and I know that. I wanted him to be a father figure,
right,
for her,
and
for my other daughter. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, when he has daughters,
right.
So you wouldn't want somebody to come in and treat your daughters like that,
right?
So why would you do that to mine? Mm-hmm. Now, I remember Nikki going off on him because the woman had called my house.
Yeah. So Nikki is the firecracker. Right. I'm the laid back one.
I'm sitting there and I'm playing Pac-Man, and this woman calls my house and she talking real crazy. And I'm like, okay.
I don't even remember this.
So Nikki took the phone. She was like, B, let me tell you something. And he was like, she was like, well, your daddy. Nikki was like, B, that ain't none of my daddy. And if you call my mama one more time talking crazy, I'm finna come over there and I'm gonna beat the daylights out of you. You think he didn't say nothing to Nikki?
Cause you know what's crazy though? So now y'all know I am a very I'm pretty even tempered. Yeah. I'm pretty rational.
Yeah.
I like to hear both sides. But when somebody got the nerve to call you talking crazy about your mama, like that just goes to a whole nother level.
Yeah. And it was funny because he came in after she done twisted everything around, and he came in, he was like, well, I'm moving. I said, okay, let me help you. So I got some bags and I started packing up his stuff, and I told her, I said, I'm finna drop his stuff at your house. At the time, he had a red van, and I was driving the van. Mm-hmm. So she was pissed off about that because I was driving the van, and then he had got the black car. Mm-hmm. So when he got the black car, he had keys to that too. So I'm driving both cars. So she got upset. But like I told her, baby, let me tell you, you can come and get his stuff. I'll drop it over there to you with the van. I don't need this because at the time I didn't need him. I was working 2 jobs.
Right.
And he was like, well, you ain't got to work 2 jobs because that's what I'm here for. Okay. But then you left. And you left me with a ton of bills.
Right, yeah.
With a car note after you told me, go get you a car because I'll help you.
Yeah.
But God gonna make a way.
Yes,
he always
do.
Yes,
he does.
He always
So then
do.
I have a question, because going back to Rebecca, so then you've seen this woman. Did you find yourself, so like Rebecca was like heavily comparing herself to the other girl?
Because I looked at her, I'm like, she looked like a monkey. She's ugly. But then I look at him and I'm like, I don't know what I've seen in you either. I must have really been desperate and lonely. And I didn't know who this woman was. I would take the same route to work every night. And like I said, at the time, I was driving his red van. And I get to the stop on 60th and Keith. And this woman just staring me down. And I got the music going, and I'm dancing, doing my thing. Someone told me to look up. And she just mean mugging. I pulled the car up to the side. I said, you got a problem? She's like, oh, no. No.
Mama Penny then pulled the car over, Jesus.
So she was was she a bus rider? I don't understand.
She was walking to the bus stop.
So that's how he picks him up.
Yeah.
That's his M.O.
Right. He said,
on the bus.
I'm going to find Bay on the bus. Okay,
Yeah.
well.
That's how he found me. I got on the bus.
Hey.
Yeah. That's his MO.
I got on his bus, and he was leaning, and I was reading my book, and you know how you can feel somebody staring at you. And I just happened to look up, and he started smiling. And I rolled my eyes at him, and I started reading my book again. So as I'm getting off the bus, hey, how you doing? Fine. And I got off the bus, and he closed the door and went on about his business. So when I saw him again, he was like, hey, how you doing? And I'm good. Can I have your number? Nope. Why not? Because no. That was a red flag for me, too. You probably talk to everybody on the bus.
Come on with it.
That's it. That's his MO.
But then I'm like, okay, well, he, you know, like I said, I was lonely, being nice, and let me take you out. I don't do buffets. Don't ever take me to a buffet. You want to take me to Golden Corral? Nope. I don't do Golden Corral. Sorry. So he got mad about that because I don't like Golden Corral. So when I finally just opened up and let him start talking to me, I found out he was living with a woman.
Okay.
Oh, no, we ain't doing that one.
Yeah.
So I cut it off again. I ain't seen him for a whole year. When I saw him again, I had just switched from working at Sarah Scott to where I am now, which is at Central Office. And I got on that 76th Street bus. He looked and he was like, what you doing over here? I said, you know that house I told you I was going to buy? He said, yep. I said, well, I bought it. And when we got to 60th and Custer, I got off the bus. And he said, you want my number? So he got mad. And you know how you gun the bus and all that black smoke come out? And that's what he did. And I walked on down the street to my house.
That toxic masculinity. We did an episode on that. How you mad because I don't want to give you my number? Sir,
but
goodbye.
Why are you even trying to talk to somebody if you living with a woman?
Listen, that's another thing.
His MO. Like I said, that's his MO. Like when he bought this place, he had to leave because the woman he talking to, he couldn't bring her to my house.
Right.
So he had to take her somewhere.
Right.
So he had to get his own spot. He think I'm crazy because I sit down and I may not say nothing because I'm adding everything up. I don't like to argue.
Right.
I told him that when I met him. I don't like to argue. If we're having a problem, you can come and talk to me like a man because I'm going to come and talk to you if you bring it up to me as a woman.
Right.
Okay. You got a woman. And I told him that this last time. He was on the phone, answered the phone. I'm busy. I'm working. I'm busy. I'm working. But you got your woman on the phone.
Right.
You ain't got to be like that. You done hurt my feelings one time too many.
Right.
So we're good. I just don't like the fact, like I said, when I heard my child talking about that, I actually broke down at work and I started crying. Because I brought my kids into this.
Right, yeah.
And it's a hurtful feeling.
Yeah.
When you have somebody for 18 years.
Yeah.
And you're not looking at the abuse that your kids is going through.
Right, yeah.
Because you're going through it.
Yeah.
So.
No, don't you dare.
Yeah. And that's and obviously that's the hard part of it because that's not the intention at all. And you know, if my mom was here, she would tell you some stories too, child. Stuff that she shouldn't, that she feels like she shouldn't have done.
I shouldn't have did a lot of things. But like I said, I wanted it to work.
Yeah.
Not so much he wanted it to work. I wanted it to work.
Yeah.
Because even though he was helping out with the bills, he could have did more. He could have did a lot more. Just like he came and he was like, well, you know, at my new place, I got to get a roof put in. I did all this by myself. I'm trying to fix this house up so we can rent it out. But he was always, well, this is your house. And bless, I never made him feel.
When he would do that.
I never made him feel like he wasn't wanted in my house.
Yeah, it was like it was her house when it was convenient for him to say that. Like, okay, well, I can take myself out of this because it's really your house.
Right.
But you here, you eat here. You got your stuff here. You live here. You've been a part of our lives for this amount of time.
But it wasn't really family.
Not
so maybe
at all.
that's what it was. It wasn't home because he wouldn't engage.
And that's true. And that's the choice he made because it was never an instance where my mom didn't try to engage him in any of, like, I remember like inviting him to all kind of stuff that I would do. Can you come to this? Can you come to this, choir when we would have like song days? Like, do you want to come? Or inviting him to JR birthday once I had a baby. Like, there was never times where we didn't really want that inclusion from him to be like, be a part with us, because you hear all the time anyway. But he just would not like make that connection with us at all. The one thing that I always think about that made me be like, you know what? I got to disconnect myself from him because it was just too much. I remember I graduated from middle school. And at the time, like at this time, my mom wasn't driving or whatever. But I think he had said like she was going to use his car or something, like something happened. But then he ended up like not doing it. So we're like running around like trying to get stuff to wear for graduation, and we ended up having to take the bus. So I'm late. I'm like the valedictorian, so I have to speak at my graduation and all this stuff. And it's just like, this dude really did that like on my graduation day. And I never, like, anytime like he would say something, I would always think back to that day, like, I'll never respect you because you did that to me.
Right.
And I never forgot that. Like, that was 8th, like I was 12, and I'm still like bent about it. Like, you did that to me.
So I'm gonna go back because you just brought up respect, and in our last episode we talked about how a lot of people want love, and you just said I wanted love, I wanted that companionship. Like, that's what that's what everybody wants. Like, that's just it is what it is. That's what everybody wants. We're all relational people, but it sounds like they didn't, or he didn't at least respect you. Did you make that connection?
Not in the beginning. It happened like during the middle of the relationship. Like I said, it happened when he started allowing this woman. You don't call my house at 2:00 in the morning. That's first and foremost.
Yeah.
So for you to give her the number, and not tell her, look, don't call here at such and such and such, and when she feel that comfortable, to do that, it's because you allowed that.
Yes.
It's Amen. Like I said, it was a lot of red flags going around. A lot of them just kept they was popping up all over everywhere. Me want to be in a relationship with this man, so not badly, but just not wanting to do this. I don't want to go through another relationship with nobody. Right. I had got comfortable with him. Yeah. So I didn't want to do this again. I don't want to do it again. If somebody should come at me now, it would be hard for them to penetrate because I got my armor up. Yeah. Not that I don't want to be in a relationship, but you get scared.
Yeah. Well, you feel like you got to protect yourself.
Yeah.
Because people be taking advantage.
Listen, people will fumble your heart in a minute and just look at you like you crazy. I gave you my heart. Like, why are you looking at me?
It's amazing, though, how guys do that.
Yeah.
You know, how... And have no remorse.
How they will come and pursue you real heavy.
Right.
Then they get your heart all involved. Then the respect game just goes down.
Right. Like, sir.
And then you're like, oh, he didn't mean that. You know, like, we start to kind of make excuses
I could have been my old self, and I could have just went there with him. But I was trying to do something different. Mm-hmm. I ain't finna be cussing you out. Right. To get nothing. Mm-hmm. That's the old Penny. Mm-hmm. I had a reputation with don't talk to her because she crazy. Right. So just leave it. My friends would tell people that when we would go out to the bars, please don't bother with her. Because I remember them fixing the street one day and this guy was talking crazy to me in the bar. And I said, oh, okay. It was 2 bottles of liquor on the bar. I looked at both of them, and both of my friends grabbed them both at the same time because I was going to bust them upside his head. So I said, okay, you want to talk crazy? Don't come out this bar. And they was fixing the street, and there was bricks all over. So I stood there, and I gathered my bricks up. As soon as he came out, I started throwing them at him. Bam! He's like, she's crazy. I told you, don't. Right. So, fortunately for I did. I had to choke him out once.
Oh, gosh.
So walk us through that.
Lord, choking people?
Because I'm in my room and he kept talking crazy to me.
All the guys that I've dealt with in the past, y'all should be lucky I didn't get none of this from my mama. Yeah. I'm truly like her nice side is all of me, whereas my older sister got that side where I will hurt you. Like, don't play with me. Like, I only got a smidge of that.
He was talking crazy, and I kept saying, okay, go on. Just go ahead on. That's when you know it's really over, when you got to put your hands on somebody. Yes. So I went in my room, and I closed the door, and he kept on talking crazy. Before I knew it, I came out, and I had him by the neck. I told you to leave me alone.
Right.
His eyes bucked a little bit. And then I took my hands off of him. I went back to my room and I slammed the door. And he said, "Don't ever put your hands on me again." And I started laughing at him. That's when you know my craziness is really coming out. And you need to get away from me. So, yeah.
Okay.
So did your friends ever comment on this relationship or
It's
say
funny
anything?
because when I got with him, he made all these promises. Like I said, we're going to get married, before the 3rd year and blase skippy this. And I called Rose. I remember calling Rose. "Rose, I met this guy and blase skippy this, that, and the other." And she was like, "You did?" And I said, "Yeah." I remember her and Mazel coming over to the house. My birthday. 1 year my birthday. And her and Mazel came over. Rose bought me this, and I still got it. It's one of them wicker lamps that you hang from the hooks. And it's still in the box in my house now. And Rose is the type that she's not going to comment, even though it's not what it is. Because, people see your relationship differently. And she saw it differently, but she didn't say anything.
Okay.
She didn't say anything, but she knew that he was not the one. Just because of stuff that she would say.
Okay, like what?
Yeah, Pen, if you happy, I'm happy.
Okay.
So
that's everybody. That's code for
That's Kanye shrug, basically. Like, right. I see you, but do whatever you want. Like, it's on you.
I don't think he the one, but I'm gonna roll with you
because you're my friend. I love you.
And with him, it was the opposite because he couldn't stand her. He did not like her.
Really?
He bought a bottle of liquor, and I'm the type when you come in my house, I'm gonna offer you a drink, water, Kool-Aid, soda, whatever.
Yeah.
And I had this bottle of liquor that he bought, and I was like, "Rose, Mazel, I got such and such and such. Y'all want some?" So they was like, "Yeah, pour us a shot." And I opened up the liquor, and he had a hissy fit. You let that bee drink the. Hold up, wait a minute. Don't call her out her name. Her name is Rose, not the bee bird.
Right.
You gonna buy me another bottle of liquor? If I buy it, my mama gonna buy it. How about that? So you won't be getting no liquor.
Right.
Not here. So, yeah. But Rose saw a lot of stuff in him that I didn't see.
Right.
Well, I saw it, but, I had
hindsight. Right. It was hindsight.
I had the big old sunglasses on, and I wouldn't let the sun block my eyes.
Rose-colored glasses. I didn't know that either. Like, who didn't love Rose? Like, she was just a great lady. So that goes to show something was truly
wrong with him.
Like, he recognized that he was wrong. Like, something was innately wrong with him because she saw that in him, and
Yeah, that's probably what it was. He was like, "She sees me for who I am.
Right.
Get rid of her."
Oh no! Right? Abort.
But that's mostly your abusers do that.
They isolate you.
And see, when I'm done with you, I'm done. I will not call you. If I see you on the street, you ain't got to worry about me speaking to you because I won't. We're going to be like a Tito stranger.
Right.
You don't know me and I don't know you either.
Right.
So we're going to leave it just like that.
I wish I had more of that. I'd be too nice to
He
people.
say I'm mean. Well, he would always say, "Well, you mean and you're evil and this, that, and that. You finna see just how mean I could be.
Mean and evil?
You finna see just how mean and evil I could be. I'm sorry, but it is what it is."
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, that's crazy though. But here's the thing: if I'm mean and evil, then why are you here?
Exactly.
For 18 years.
Exactly. Because he was comfortable too, and I feel like for him, and I don't know much about his upbringing and his background too, and you have to consider that of how people were raised and the things that they've seen and how they grew up. So I don't know any of that. I don't know how much of that
Well,
that can play into how he treated you.
Once, and we have went to his hometown, and she needed paper towels and stuff like that, and he would get so angry every time I come here. I got to go buy the paper towels and this, that, and the other. That's your mother. Whatever she.
That's a red flag. I would have been like, oh no.
Mother.
Right.
And I would ask about his grandparents, because I had a good relationship with my grandmother. Mm-hmm. I had a good relationship with my mother. Mm-hmm. Well, I think I did, and I had a good relationship with my grandmother. He didn't have that. Mm-hmm. That was a red flag for me. You know, it was a red flag, but like I said, I ain't paying no attention to it. None of that.
And you know, and I agree, because I think I said this on one of our podcasts before. I was dating this guy who didn't have friends, and then I was watching this. This woman did something similar to like a podcast, and she said, if you meet a guy that doesn't have friends, it's because he's unfriendly. And I was like, ooh.
And that was the thing, but I've never met anybody he knows. You work for the bus company, so you should know a whole lot of people. Mm-hmm. I work where I work, and I know a lot of people.
Right.
But I don't associate myself with a lot of people.
But they gotta have a core,
right?
You know,
right? Where your core people?
Where your three? Where's your solid three?
Listen. I've also dated a guy who was like, I don't got many close friends, and I was like, what? Like,
you said, I'm sorry, we cannot.
Yeah, I was like, abort, because this ain't gonna work. Like my friends gonna be there, my core gonna be there. You gonna know that. So this is weird.
I mean, and I tell Chanel all the time, I love that she has you and Lakeisha and Nadia as her besties. Mm-hmm. So when she's feeling whatever kind of way, I know that y'all gonna reel her right back on in.
Amen. Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Scarlett and Maya. Mm-hmm. You know, we go down the line. I don't want nobody to be like, she left me out. So
Scarlett, Maya,
charge it to her head, not her heart.
All of y'all. Y'all know who y'all are. Ashley. All of y'all.
Everybody.
Mm-hmm. Moosey. Yeah. Everybody.
Mm-hmm. No, it's definitely very helpful to have that core of people.
So I have a question. So, like you said, your friend Rose, she knew, but she would say things like, you know,
if you happy,
I'm happy. Mm-hmm. And we have a lot of friends who do that, because some of us don't know, is that our place?
Right.
You know what I mean? What's your perspective on that?
Well, my perspective is, she wanted me to be happy. Mm-hmm. She just wanted what was best for me, because she would call me out the blue, and she'd be like, hey, Pen, and I'd be like, hey. We would talk for like 2 or 3 hours. How you doing? She never said anything bad about him. Mm-hmm. Never.
Right.
She always had something positive to say. Mm-hmm. Regardless of what I said or how I felt, she never said anything bad about him.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Mm-hmm. So do you think if she would have, so let's say if she pulled like a Molly, my mom don't watch Insecure, but on Insecure, Molly, like the dude that Issa was dealing with, had ghosted. He disappeared for a long time. He shows up like, yeah, I'm just trying to say hey to her, like, what's up? And Molly like, no, like, first of all, you not about to go talk to her, like,
she's happy right now,
right? She's happy.
About to come and ruin this.
Going back down that yellow brick road about your business, because what you're not finna do is mess this up, what she has built. So, do you think if Rose would have been like, you know what, Pen, like, he's trash, like, why are you even bothering him? Do you think you would have taken that advice?
I don't think I would have, because, like I said, I had the blinders on.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
You know, he's doing blase skippy this, and I wanted sort of what she had with myself. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's valid. But yeah.
So throughout these different cases, okay, so there was emotional abuse, there was physical abuse, there was mental abuse. I'm gonna add in sexual abuse, because I feel like that's that word. Did you ever feel like you deserved it?
No, I don't think I did. I don't think I deserved any of that. You know, starting with my stepfather. I felt that he did what he did to me because of the relationship my mother had with my father.
So what kind of relationship did your mother have with?
They all grew up in the same area, so to speak, so they all knew each other. And I don't think him and my father got along too well.
Okay.
So I think he took me being his daughter.
It's okay.
That's my phone. I don't know why it's going off.
He took it out on you?
Right.
That's what you're saying. Okay.
And I say that because I kind of blame my mother in a sense, because with me, my boyfriends or men friends or whatever couldn't put their hands on my daughters. Mm-hmm. I don't care if we are married. You're not their father. If something is going on, I don't mind you chastising them, but it's a way to do it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I can remember him whooping us, me and two of my sisters, because we're not his kids. Mm-hmm. And I can remember him whooping us, and he would make us pull our pants and our panties down.
Mm. Yeah.
As I got older, I'm like, well, what is that all about?
Right.
My sister today has so many insecurities about her. And when I say that, it's because of the way my stepfather treated us. Mm-hmm. So she finds these men that are needy that she takes care of. Mm-hmm. And it's because of the way we were brought up.
Okay.
When we were brought up, you were seen or not heard.
Okay.
So whatever was going on in the house, it stayed in the house.
Right.
When I got older, I would tell people what he was doing to me. But I don't know, they must not have been listening because nothing was done. It wasn't until I got to be an adult that he apologized for what he did. The damage was already done.
So then, what exactly did he do? So we know that he was in the closet. It
was sexual abuse.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was sexual. Yeah, it was some. I told my grandmother. My grandmother told some folks, but he was still there. Mm-hmm. He was still there up until my mother passed away at the age of 19. I can remember telling him, I must have been, I'm going to say I was like 16 or 17. My sister, who is real high yellow, I can remember her going to the store. And my stepfather's friend, because it was dark outside, so he made sure she made it back home. Mm-hmm. Okay. And my stepfather went completely off, snatching her up. And like I said, my sister is high yellow. Mm-hmm. And I can remember my mother standing there and not saying nothing. I went in the kitchen and got a cast iron skillet, and I told him, if you put your hands on her one more time, I was grown at the time. You put your hands on her one more time, I will kill you.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Now, my sister claims she don't remember none of that. Why is it that I remember it and my sister under me remember it, but you don't remember it?
Right.
And it came up because my baby sister, that was her father, she was talking real crazy about my sister Renee. I understand why Renee acts and does the way the things that she does, because your father did this.
Right.
And she was like, no, he never did that to me.
Thank God.
He did it to us, though.
Right. It's still valid.
Y'all should have said something. To who?
And we did.
Right.
And it went unheard. Mm-hmm. So.
Even with my mother, I told her everything when I turned 19. Mm-hmm. And she, in turn, said, well, you should have said something a long time. How do you say something with somebody that you sleep with?
Yeah.
How do you come and tell your mother, your husband is doing... And if I told your mother, I told my aunts.
Well, you told the people who you thought
would do something.
Would advocate for you and create change, and they did. Yeah.
And you know what's worse about all of this? That, it happened to my mom, and there's nothing I can do about it. But it happens far too often. I think is the real problem, that in Black communities and Black families, we do have that, we'll take care of it in-house. Like, don't tell people outside. Like, we'll just hush and cover it up and just keep it moving. But when it comes to this is happening far too often, where young girls are getting molested and sexually abused, and it's like nobody is advocating in there for them.
And we keep blaming the victim.
Right.
It happens even now when adults get raped, and then they speak about it later. Well, you should have said
right.
something.
Why did you wait so long?
Okay, well, I said something now.
Exactly. It doesn't matter. Is there a statute of limitations on when I can say what I need to say? No. Because there is a process to it, too. It is confusion, it's guilt, it's hurt, it's all kind of emotions.
Is it my fault? Did I do something wrong?
That these victims
am I going to get in trouble for this?
Absolutely.
Like,
so
there's a whole slew of different reasons as to why.
But yeah, I thought I turned it off. It's in the pocket. So yeah, which is really crazy. And it's funny how you was like, well, how come she doesn't remember, but I remember what happened? And I think a lot of that is just like repressed. Like you repress it so deep where you don't want to remember it at all.
I repressed it for a long time. I remember waking up in a cold sweat and seeing my stepfather in his closet shaking his private parts. And I'm like, what is that? The apartment just came so vivid. And I remember this apartment. My mother used to stay on 38th and Lake Park in Chicago in a 1-bedroom. And I remember this vividly. And I'm like, no, he didn't do that. But then I kept having these dreams. And then I started remembering, oh, yeah, he did do that.
Right.
And like I said, when he apologized, it was too late. The damage was already done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't consider myself as damaged good. The next guy to get me, he got to be willing to accept
all of it.
Everything.
Flaws and baggage and all that. And that's what relationships take anyway. Like you got to be willing to put in work because we all come with pasts and backgrounds and hurts and everything else. But, you know, some people these days just aren't ready to work.
Love my hurt away. Just make me feel wanted for once. I've never had that. So I wanted this person to say it's okay.
Right.
If a tear fall, wipe that tear off my eye and tell me we gonna be all right.
Okay. Yeah. And it sounds like that's what you always wanted, even as a child. Like you wanted those people who you told to say, like, "Okay, I got you. I'm gonna take care of this." You know. And it seems like that didn't happen. And you know, y'all know I be watching the Y'all Love Fix My Life,
Lord.
and that happens, like you said, far too often. Where the kid did tell somebody, maybe they didn't tell the mom, but they told somebody who they thought would vouch for them and actually, you know, get this ball rolling, and then nothing happened. So what you're telling me is that my voice don't matter, that nobody does care, right? I don't matter, my voice don't matter, and you love them more than me.
Exactly.
You know?
and as a kid, that's your psyche, like that's how you're perceiving all of that, that nobody
so
cares.
Then why should I continue to bring up anything?
Right. Yeah.
If it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Or if I get in trouble for it. And now I'm a liar. Right? So.
Yeah, that's a lot to deal with. And I think just for me and my own instances too, and I'm going to say you haven't listened to our Me Too episode, have you? Yeah, I can tell you haven't listened to it.
No, don't listen.
No, I want you to listen to it because there was an instance where I was sexually abused. So yes, that happened to me. So I don't say no names on air, but it was at a house that I would go over often. Not Rose's house, but your other friend's house that I would be at.
Sandy.
No, we not saying no names, not her. And we're not going to say any names. But her son. So she has a son. She has like some other kids too. And I would be at their house often. And yeah, he sexually abused me.
You're gonna tell me after we get.
I am. I will tell you. So I'm gonna send you the link. So I'm just kidding.
I can't tell you. So here's the link.
Right. I'll just send you the link. But no, that totally happened to me. And for years, like I suppressed that so deep because it was like, this is my fault. Like it happened because did I want it to happen? But I was just a little kid. Like I didn't know what was going on. So that always stuck with me to be like, well, don't say anything because you let this happen.
Is the person still alive?
Yeah, I'm sure he is. We were both kids. So I hope he's alive. But if he dead, oh no, that would be terrible. But yeah, I'm sure he's alive. I'll tell you after. But
I think what happens.
I'm only saying that because I don't think you should tell me.
Okay.
Yes, because we don't have a bail budget.
Yeah, we don't. And I don't want you to go to jail. But no, yeah. So that happened to me, and I suppressed it a long time. And it came up for me, too, because I kept thinking about it. Like, well, like I remember losing my virginity in my mind, like the real time. And I was just like, but it didn't hurt or anything. So I'm thinking, like, what's wrong with me? Like, why didn't it? So that's how that came about. Yeah.
I want to know who it is. I really do.
I'll tell you after.
I'm hoping that they are dead.
Okay.
Because if I see them, yeah.
I know. So I'll tell you after.
You should have told me a long time ago.
We just said that. Like, now it doesn't matter. I'm telling you now. But, yeah, for a long time, it was just like, well, it was my fault. So that's how I thought about it as a kid.
And that's why I would always ask you and Nikki. Now you finna make me cry again.
I don't want to make you cry.
Ask, did anybody ever touch you?
You did. You did.
You should have told me then, because, yeah. Yep. Tell me after we get off air.
I will.
Because
I'll share
whoever
that with
parent
you.
that is going to get a mouthful.
Yeah, and I think that's the hard part about it because there's only so much that you can actually do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it takes a village to raise a child. And at some point, you do trust certain people with your kids. And they invade, that space and that trust.
Yeah.
And, and I know you ask JR that all the time.
All the time.
If he say somewhere, you're like, what happened? Who did
Yeah.
what? I remember one time we were at Maya's house and godson, Nadia's baby, he was young and he just said something like his butt itch, and it was a whole big deal.
Like, wait a minute,
why
why
like, right. Like, what happened?
Yes.
Who took you to the bathroom?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I think that
those are all valid questions.
I think that nobody obviously wants anything to happen to their child, but there is also a certain level of trust that you have to give to other people.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they violate it.
Yeah, it just takes away from their childhood.
Yes,
It does.
It does.
It does.
Especially if you went through it. Then you're like, oh, I'm going to make sure that this never happens to my child. But unfortunately, 1 in 4 women, 1 in 3 women, and 1 in 4 men, this is what happens.
Their reality. Yep.
And I think that when it is happening, there's like this unspoken thing, like this unspoken secrecy.
Right.
Yeah, and I think it's far common too with kid to kid, and a lot of people think it's like adult to kid or like something like that, but kid to kid happens just as often.
Let me tell
too.
y'all something. So I was volunteering, taking the Black Achievers on a Black College tour every year, right? I'm trying so hard to keep the boys away from the girls. Y'all can't sit together on the bus. You can't do that. Like, I'm like, yes, got this on lock. But the kids are 4 in a room. Checking on them, all of this. It never dawned on me that the girls was over there trying to try stuff with the other girls.
Oh.
And now I'm like,
So
I'm not
you
going
missed
on another
that,
tour. I'm
yeah.
not doing that because I can't protect your kid. I can't.
Yeah.
Like,
how can I
I'm
stop
trying to
them?
bring your child back the way that they came.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to do. And
I
I'm
would've
over here
never thought that.
safeguarding against the boys. And ain't nobody getting pregnant on this trip.
Right, but it was
Ain't
the
nothing
girls and the girls.
But at night, when you in that room with those 4 other girls and one person is curious about something, they trying something with another girl.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that kid to kid is real.
And the person, and usually the people who do stuff like this, it's the people that you trust.
Yep.
Because they have to have access
Yep.
somehow. So it is the people that you trust.
Yep.
And like you said, it is unreversible. But
is.
I just don't want you to feel like you failed as a parent.
Yeah, and I don't either. Like,
You know
I
what
will
I
say
mean?
that
'Cause
to you now. You ask all the time, but as a kid, I definitely felt like, well, I can't tell her this because for one, I know you will go off on somebody, and it was like I couldn't tell you until I could actually get that whole memory out. So when I started having those dreams and those memories,
my daughter,
it was like, okay,
I couldn't tell my mother either.
Yeah.
Until I turned 19. Like I said, who wants to be married to a pedophile?
Right, exactly. And then it's like, well, what does this mean?
Yeah.
Right? Like, how is this going to change things? And is it my
Exactly.
fault? Am I in trouble? Like, how do I play
that,
into
and
that?
I feel like that now. Like I'm 31. Like, oh no, like I don't want to be in trouble.
When I tried to kill him is when my mother was like, well, why are you doing it? And I had to tell her. And she told him, when I have this baby and when I get out the hospital, I don't want you in my house. You got to go.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is, she never made it home.
Right.
So
Yeah. And see, that's the thing too. She probably felt like she failed you.
yep, as a
But this is her husband. So who would ever think that they own husband?
Right, would do something like
Right.
that. Yeah.
It ain't safe.
It ain't.
You know?
Even
Listen.
talking about it now, my sister and my brother avoid the conversation because that's their father, which I understand. But if we're going to get to the nitty gritty and the root of it, don't say that my sister is crazy because she's coming up with this stuff that your father did to her.
Right. Yes.
This is her way of coping with it. She and I have had conversations, amongst ourselves about this situation. I understand exactly what she's going through. That's a hurting feeling. And he used to beat her, my sister. So I understand exactly what she's going through.
Yeah. Yeah, that's hard, man. And it's part of it is just cultural, right?
It is a lot.
As a black
cultural.
community, we like speak when spoken to. You know, what goes on in the house stays in the house. All of that.
It is so cultural, and we gotta move away from that. Like just, and we have to understand that sexual assault is real too. And I think that there's this kind of idea that it's the creepy man at the park, but it's
not.
Much closer
it's
than
your
that.
auntie, your uncle, the cousin.
It's the neighbor and they kids, and it's everybody.
I had to tell my mother's cousin, we had a barbecue in Chicago maybe 6 years ago, and my mother's first cousin and my sister that I'm speaking about now, he just made her feel so uncomfortable talking to her under her clothes. And I saw the expression on her face, and I'm like, what's wrong? She said, he keep talking about, what's underneath my clothes. Oh, did I snap out on him? He was like, well, we all grown. I don't care how grown I am. I don't care how grown. And he's much older. He's like in his 70s. I don't care.
Right, yeah.
And
you have no business talking to her about whatever she got underneath her clothes. That's not your business.
And that's family?
That's family. If you do it again, you're going to have to deal with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see,
I'm looking at your face and you shocked that that's family, but it's always family.
Always family.
You know what I mean?
Majority of the time,
that's crazy.
It's family.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
That's
why are you
the
asking
biggest
me this?
opportunity.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to tell.
But then, too, I think it's hard. I was watching this one episode with Deanna, and the daughter did tell the mom, and so the mom sent her son, so it was the siblings, and the mom, so the brother had sex with the sister, took her virginity, so she sends the brother to go live with the grandmother, but then she eventually let him come back because in her mind, that's still her son. You know what I mean? So there's a bunch of different layers here. How do I protect my child but still take care of my other child who did this thing? But when he was able to come back, the daughter felt like, you ain't protecting me.
Right.
So he left for 2 weeks. Oh, and now everything just supposed to be good, and nobody ever addressed it head on.
And that's a part of that problem too. Like, it doesn't get addressed. So now we're all dealing with these feelings. Pandora's box is open. You're exposed to sex way earlier than you should have been.
And then he kept doing it.
Oh my goodness, that's her own brother. That's crazy.
But that's that's a thing.
It is a thing. Unfortunately, that thing we gotta fix that. It's just that's too much. And as much as, like we said, we try to protect our kids, sometimes you cannot be everywhere every time, which is the sad part. And as much as you make your kids feel comfortable, like, you can come and tell me, you can share this with me. Once that happens to you, it really shuts you down. It shuts you down.
Does.
And from that, and at least in my own case, like, I understand why at moments in my life I was so promiscuous, because I was exposed to that
at an early
too
age.
young.
Right. Yeah.
How old were you?
I had to be like young, like 7, 6, 7.
Trying to figure out who that person
is. I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah. That's the thing too, though. I remember I was watching something, and the mom said that she knew because she felt like the light went out in her daughter's eyes.
I kind of always had, and even though I would ask you and you would tell me no, but it was just things that you were doing. Like, if I had to go to work and I tell you, Chanel, I want you home at a certain time, and, well, I can't come now because you was with some boy.
Oh, yeah. I was very promiscuous.
I remember you telling me, well, I forgot the boy name you was dealing with, but I remember you telling me, well, I can't come home now because I can't get home, and blase skippy this. And I missed work that night, and I told you, I said, if you don't bring your ass home right now, I'm going to kill you. And when you came in the door, I tried to kill you.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I kind of
there
was a suspicion.
There was definitely a streak of being very promiscuous, and that, like, my freshman, sophomore year of high school. So, yeah.
Yeah, I remember I had my niece with me a couple weeks ago, and we went to church, and she had to go to the bathroom, and she got up to go, and the usher sent her right back. because there's a rule in the church that unless you're 18, you can't go to the bathroom by yourself. And you know, people get in their feelings about it, but my pastor was like, everybody comes to church. That's number one. Everybody that comes to church ain't saved, and I don't know who's in the bathroom with your child. I don't want your child to come back out sitting down and all of a sudden they acting different. You know, so you will either your child ain't gonna go or you gonna get up and take them.
Very simple.
With my grandsons, when we would go out somewhere, no, you're not going in the bathroom by yourself because I don't know who in there.
Right.
So you're gonna use the ladies' bathroom. And Jr.
Yeah, he was
But
a
Granny,
big one.
I don't understand why I gotta use the ladies' bathroom because I don't know
because you don't know who's in
man.
there. And some people are just looking to take advantage, and these pedophiles are real, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but they're real.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a later episode coming too. But it is real out here for sure.
So do you have any regrets, or is there anything that you felt like you would do differently?
I say things happen for a reason. God put people in your life for a reason, and sometimes in that reason you're only supposed to stay a season. You're not supposed to let it linger no longer than what he put in front of you at that moment. When it's over, it's over. I don't have any regrets because it happened the way it's supposed to happen. Everything happened the way it's supposed to happen. I wish everybody well. I don't want to be bothered, but I wish everybody love and happiness.
Right.
So, no, I don't have any regrets. It is what it is.
It is what it is. I mean, it sounds like, you know, throughout all of these, there was a point where you was just like, I got to make this decision, you know. So, you know, obviously, unfortunately, different things happened along the way, but at least you were just like, well, you know, I'm just going to go through it. You know, if I got to be depressed, if I got to be alone.
It was a storm that I went through, and unfortunately, I got wet a lot of times. I'm dry now.
Right.
So, like I said, God sends you through so much. And he know when to pull you in, and he know when to take you back out.
Right.
So he pulled me in, and he pulled me right back out. My heart, like I said, I was hurt.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think at my age that this was going to happen to me again. But it don't matter what age you are.
Yeah.
If it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. It wasn't meant to be. We were not yoked together. So it wasn't meant to be.
So then what are your thoughts, or what are your newfound standards now?
My newfound standards is, first of all, I got to learn to love me. And that's something that I didn't. I was looking for somebody else to fill in the gaps. And I wasn't loving me. Like I said, before I met this person, God was working on me to better myself. And I let him in, and I closed the door on God because I was going to church and everything, getting me together. And I let this person in, and everything that he said he wasn't. And I was trying to make him be
what he said he
wasn't.
Yeah.
So I am working on me. And in order for somebody else to penetrate this heart again, you're going to have to really
deserve it. Yeah, you're going to have to deserve it. Yeah. And everybody can't just penetrate this hard.
No, they can't. And I got a shield around it now. I didn't want to have a shield around it because I like hugs. I like kisses. I like walks in the park. I like all of that. But you're going to have to deserve this heart now. I'm not just going to freely give it to you.
Right. And on top of that, like, actions and words got to go hand in hand, and not just like actions or not just words, but together. Like, those things have to come together.
Do you watch Red Table Talk? Did you see the one with Will Smith and Jada? Oh my God,
that was good.
It was everything.
It was real good.
So one of the things that stood out to me from that episode was that there was a time where Will and Jada were in the house and they had company, and Will said that Jada like cussed him out, and he hit her over the head with a newspaper, and then he was like, "Let's go talk in the other room."
Yeah. I can't believe he hit her with the newspaper though. I was like, that was extreme.
But I think in his mind he was like, she's disrespecting me, and I responded disrespectfully.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And then I think in his mind he was like, okay, we got to talk about this. But basically he said, you know, I grew up in a house where my dad was beating on my mom, so I need you to understand that this can never happen again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
these
this,
words.
I'm not gonna. This is the new standard
Yeah.
that I'm setting. We're not gonna cuss at each other. We're not gonna be disrespectful. You know. And then she was like, "Well, you just hit me over my MFing head," and he was like, "I'm done with you." And then he said her eyes welled up with tears, and she was like, "Okay." And then he was like, "You know, for 20 years, they didn't cuss. Like they would get mad at each other, and he would say, I can't respond to you respectfully right now. So when I can talk to you in a way that you deserve, then I'll come back."
I'll come back. Yeah.
Right. And then she said, well, sometimes he just say, I'm getting ready to bite your head off, so get away from me right now.
No.
Right. But whatever. The point is that he set a new standard, and he said, I'm breaking this cycle. This is, you know, this is not okay.
Right. Yep.
And my son and my kids cannot witness this.
Yep.
You know, and I thought that was
Excellent.
everything.
Right.
Yeah. And it was good to nip that in the bud right away.
Oh, would like that man in our life that when we're doing wrong, that he's going to come at us in a respectful way.
Right.
And tell us, look,
Right.
that wasn't cool.
Right.
You can't be doing that. We're going to be together. Let's do this, that, and the other.
Right.
It ain't no, you over there, and I'm over here, and we not meeting in the middle.
Yeah.
You still over there, and I'm still over here. That's not a relationship.
Right.
That's not even a friendship.
Right. Come on.
Right.
Right. Yeah. But I love that he not only set the standard, but then he stuck to it.
He stuck to it.
Yeah.
Because he was like, we can break up right now.
Yeah.
That man to lead. That's what men are supposed to do. Men are supposed to lead. We're supposed to follow. But if you're not being that leader, and I'm not saying, oh, take my hand and just lead me over the cliff.
Right. Exactly. You got to be worthy of
If you're
leading.
not leading me in the right direction, what's the point?
Right. Yeah. And not only that, like they took action steps too, because he was like, yeah, we took like communication courses, and so don't just say it, but really be about it.
You gotta want to be. It takes two people to be in a relationship, and you have to want to be in that relationship.
Yeah.
Being disrespectful and dishonest and lying and all that other stuff you're doing, that is not a relationship.
Right.
I don't know what you want to call it, but it's not, and you don't have to be put in that situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because after I watched that, I was like, yep, that's what I'm doing. So, you know, before on the last podcast, we talked about how important it is to set your standards ahead of time.
Right.
And know, you know, what the deal breakers are, so that when people do them, you don't have to be emotionally involved. You already told them what the deal breakers, so they know what they're risking.
Yeah.
You thought it was okay. So clearly, you just don't want to be
okay.
with me. Right.
That's why I say this podcast just, y'all be talking and I'll be like, dang, Chanel must have told her my business.
Right. Because again, I'll be in my own world. Like, I don't be paying attention to what's happening in your relationships. Because at this point, I got my own problems in my own relationships. So I really be like, hey, I can only focus on one person at a time. And that's me.
No, I think that is a lot of reflection about my past relationships and just realizing the role that I played.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you know what? He was wrong when he did this, or, you know, or whatever. But how come I didn't say,
Right.
this is not okay?
This is not okay.
And I did say that this wasn't okay. But how come I didn't follow through?
Absolutely.
Right. And be like, I said this wasn't okay. So good day, sir.
Right. Good day, sir. And I think a lot of it is
Yeah.
hindsight for me too. Like, I'm always like, well, why didn't I do this? But that's the beauty of this podcast and our platform, that we can share those pitfalls that we have, and that's okay to know that we all fall short sometimes, but that's okay. And when you recognize it, do I keep doing the same stuff, or do I really advocate to fix what I just said that I wasn't going to do anymore?
And the other thing is, I think that we don't, you know, everybody always says what they'll never do. You know what I mean? I'll never be with a man who hits me. I'll never be with a man who cheats on me.
So easy to say that.
All of that. And then you find yourself doing all them things.
Right.
And I think it's because you don't understand the emotional investment that you're going to have at the time or the impact on your self-worth at the time. Like when people do those things to you, you feel low. So you don't feel very empowered to say, I'm not going to take this.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Like you feel like very unworthy. And so I think for me now, it's realizing that just because you don't see my worth doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
There,
you know what I
for
mean?
sure.
Just because you don't see it and you're not respecting me doesn't mean that I'm not worthy of being respected.
And good day.
You know? Right.
Sir.
And good day.
Yes. It's very simple.
This has been a blessing.
Awesome.
This has really just made my day.
Good. I'm glad. It made ours. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it did.
I am
I thought I was going to like
extremely,
really break down, but I did. I'm proud.
happy.
Yay. I'm glad.
This is just another chapter that God has taken me through.
Mm-hmm.
I was just telling my coworkers, and they was like, Penny, we see such a change in you from then till now. And I was like, yep. I said, because I'm getting back to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was all about him for a minute.
Right.
Why he left me, and why did you do this, that, and the other, and what did I do that was so wrong that you felt it necessary to just walk all over me like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go through that heartache to get to where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
And I am feeling wonderful now.
Awesome.
I'm glad. And I mean, yeah, sometimes you got to toot your own horn. So I'm very proud of you and the strides that you made. Because at the beginning, I was like, oh no, where's my strong mom? But I had to take a step back as being a woman, like woman Chanel to woman Penny. And I had to step back to just be your kid and let you kind of go through that. Because as a woman, I felt
But
a little differently
even,
about it.
Nope, you even said, Ma, go through whatever you got to go through, but don't stay there.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I said. And that's what I told you. But to toot your own horn,
I had to go through it.
Yeah.
As we all do, because my heart was involved. If my heart hadn't been involved, because I should have told him a long time ago, pack your stuff and leave.
Yeah, we wouldn't be here then today.
Right.
So
Because he kept saying, well, upstairs is not a room. You've been upstairs for 18 years, and you not only had the upstairs, you could have came downstairs.
Right.
You had full-fledged run of the whole house.
Right. Yeah.
So what are you talking about? Mm-hmm. Now all of a sudden it's too small for you upstairs?
So the excuses start.
all right, here we go.
I'm like, okay.
But every now and then, you know, you need to toot your own horn to recognize that you tight. And like I said, I'm very proud of you. You haven't smoked in like 3 years?
Yeah.
So that's a blessing in it. So
And that's another thing that he didn't understand about me. When I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm a woman of my word.
Right.
We had a thing today at work, and I made a thing of chili. And everybody was like, well, you said, well, we was going to put, if I tell you I'm going to do something, I do it.
Right.
So he didn't understand that part of me. When I go to the store, I didn't just go to the store for me.
Right.
Do you need anything?
Right.
I'm going to the store.
Hell,
would
even
you
if he
like
didn't say
anything?
he needed anything,
you would have bought it anyway.
I keep tissue and soap and all of that stuff.
Yeah, I ain't
Right.
bought tissue in like 5 years. So tissue? How much is that?
Right. You would probably freak out if you knew how much tissue costs right now.
I ain't buying that. Send my mama.
Yes. Because there's one thing that I do want to say to you, Mama Penny. I appreciate you so much.
Thank
Because
you.
when I was in college, I was like, yo, Sarah, you was like a surrogate mother.
Yeah.
You was
You know what? I
buying
look
meat
at-
clothes
I look
and
at-
snacks. And
I look at you and Nadia, like I said, and Sherry.
This is your.
I'm
she's
still
naming
Sherry.
them Chanel.
I look at Sherry and Nadia and Lakeisha and Scarlett, and I look at y'all as my other daughters. Mm-hmm. So, because y'all been around for so
Forever.
long.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
Yes.
y'all are like my surrogate other daughters.
Yeah, and I appreciate that so much because I'm telling you, Chanel and I were roommates.
Yeah.
And Chanel would be like, my mom bought you this shirt.
And I used to be like, why are you buying her stuff?
I'd be like, oh, that's so sweet. But I think that just goes to show what type of person you
Yeah.
are. You know what I mean?
And I hate people to tell me that I'm mean or and I know I'm not.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's why when you were saying those things that he said about you, I was just
I'm
like,
okay,
really?
No, I said, oh, he trying to play psychic football with me.
Mm-hmm. The Jedi mind trick.
We're gonna do it like this. Since you told me I'm mean and I'm this, that, and the other, you ugly.
Right, and selfish. I'm like,
ugly.
really?
I told you ugly and you selfish and yeah. And you talking about I done got fat. If I push you, you're gonna fall. Because that's how little he's really tiny.
Yeah.
He's really a tiny old man.
Yeah. So, and I mean, hey, so yeah, I'm glad you didn't let that deter from you. And you're about to finish school, so I'm very proud about that.
Yeah, Shadell told us she was
yeah.
enrolled in classes. I'm like, all right, come on then,
having
Mama
a graduation and all of that.
Got
so we just got to do it big. Yeah, we went to conceal and carry class. Listen, next we're gonna get you a riding voucher with Sherry Shaw.
She gonna be out here riding motorcycles, you know. Hey,
just live your best life. Hey, that's all you gotta do.
I said, look, I'll only be 60 once, and I'm finna enjoy my life.
Yeah,
I don't have any little kids. I can come and go as I please. And that was another thing with he and I, because I'm like, okay, my kids are grown. We could do some traveling. We could do this, that, and the other. I like going out dancing. I like doing things. And I stopped being me to satisfy him. Because he didn't want to do these things. So I'm like, okay, I would be at work and he'll be like, well, take such and such a days off for vacation. And then when I take those days off, then he will come back, well, I don't feel like doing that. So you just made me miss some vacation time.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to do it.
Right, but you led me to believe
that you did. Listen, I need you to cash me out on these days, bro, because you tripping. Like, don't have me taking off work and then you like, no, cash me out right now because you tripping.
So I found this thing online, and it says 5 questions to ask yourself if you think your partner is toxic. So weigh in, jump in whenever y'all want to.
All right.
But number 1, it says, are they implicitly or explicitly trying to gain power and control over you?
Yes.
Is the relationship mutually beneficial?
No.
Are you expected to sacrifice when they won't even compromise?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I've been in a situation like that.
Are you comfortable expressing yourself to them, and do they respect your needs?
Nope.
And then are you happy most of the time, or is the relationship confusing or painful?
It's confusing and painful. And no, I'm not happy. I wasn't happy. I am now.
Hey. Well, we removed a variable. Right. So there's that happiness.
Right. But hell, you deserve to be able to receive all the love that you give.
For sure.
Like I'm saying, like anybody who will, just go ahead and like foster a child in college where she doesn't have to. You know what I mean? Because when you said like, okay, if I told you I'm gonna get something from the store, I'm gonna get it. I feel like I didn't even ask you to. You just took it upon yourself because that's your heart. You know what I mean? And that's how Chanel is too. You know what I mean? Like that's just the type of person that you are. So if somebody can't see that and they want to go and tell you who they are, which is selfish.
Right.
And mean.
And that's what that was.
Like,
you reflecting you on me. Right.
Exactly.
Don't project that. That's you. That ain't me.
That's exactly what it was. He was reflecting his own insecurities. Right. And tried to make me feel insecure because he was insecure.
Yeah.
And he still has stuff in my house, but it's abandoned now, so he won't get it back.
Yeah, I definitely told her, like, hey, you have one opportunity to get your stuff, and after we give you this one opportunity, you may not come and get whatever you have in this house because you had more than enough time to get all your stuff together. So we're not doing that back and forth, like, oh, I forgot a straw. Right. No, you can't come back. I left my plastic fork.
Right. I left my sock.
No, you may not come back over here for sure. So, yeah. So
I'm good. Like I said, I'm unfortunately I'm letting my house go, because I can afford the mortgage, but I can't afford the upkeep on it. So I'm gonna let the house go.
No, it's not unfortunately. Let it. You said let it all.
It all must go.
Let it go.
Everything must go.
You did your job. You raised your kids in that house. I was blessed that you were able to buy a house by yourself, a single woman. You showed me that that's what you could do.
Exactly.
So you've done your part. Like, let the house go. We don't need it. Like, me and Nikki both have our
Right.
own houses.
Ain't nobody cutting grass.
Right.
And,
At all,
Nope.
child. Ain't nobody doing that. I don't do that in my house either. Like, praise God for my neighbor, because he be looking out. But ain't nobody doing that. So,
But
yes.
my next step is I'm gonna get me a condo.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
I agree with the condo.
For real.
Because they'll do all, the condo
Yes.
fees, they'll
yeah,
shovel
take care of it for you.
all of
For
that.
sure.
Yes.
And you deserve that. You deserve that. And
Yeah,
all
you just
the
pay that
happiness
one
is
little
coming.
bill and keep moving
Right,
on.
keep it moving. But no, that house, let it go. And we don't fault you for that or feel bad. I'm glad you are, because you don't need that.
And it says that this chapter is done.
It's done.
It's done.
For
You know,
sure.
it's like the physical manifestation that you're done with this.
Like,
And it's time for a new
Jakes-
penny.
Like Sarah Jake say, I had to get a little hood because I'm a little crazy and everything, but everything must
go.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
everything.
Sarah Jakes ain't playing. She be taking off her shoes.
Yeah, she do be taking off her shoes. Little Patty LaBelle.
She ain't playing.
Because I
no.
wish I had went to that Woman Thou Art Loose, that conference they just had. Because I was watching
There's
her.
going to be another conference that we're going to.
Yeah.
And
In
you were
Colorado.
saying
I
you
told
were
her
saying
about
that
it
your mom
already.
wants to come.
Yeah, I told her.
Now, when is it?
That's in the summer, right? It's in July.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
in July.
Make sure. Well, my vacation time will be up because I'm getting ready to retire.
All right, you
next
about
September.
to do all types of
Listen,
new things
living your
in this
best life.
season.
Another something, but I don't want to be at MPS anymore.
Yeah.
My goal is to mentor young women that are going through domestic
That would be awesome.
abuse of any kind.
Yes.
That's my goal.
That
to
would
help
be awesome.
Somebody else that's going through anything that I've been through,
Yeah.
to talk or whatever. Confidential, because, even with my coworkers, she lost 3 sons within a year of each other. And when she was going through it, and that's an emotional abuse right there, to lose 3 of your kids at one time. And still today, she tell me if it wasn't for me talking to her, she don't know where she would be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because you need those people when you down in the pit of depression. You need people
you
to
need
be
somebody
checking on you.
like, not even
Just-
to check, just to say, well, if you need that hug, I got you.
Right.
Let me wipe that tear from you. And
Right.
that's something that I was trying to tell my sister. Y'all don't visit me. It may come a time when I just wanted you to just say, hey, I'm on my way. I hear it in your voice that you're going through
Right,
something.
exactly.
And I just need to see for
Right.
myself whatever it is you're going through. Because if she calls me and she needs me for anything, I'm there.
Right. Yeah.
I've always been there. She gets mad at me, but it is what it is. Your son make $30-something an hour. You shouldn't have to call and ask me for nothing, knowing what I'm going through.
Right.
I sent it to you, but I'm pissed off that you had to ask me.
Yeah, I mean, check on your strong friends. People have to keep that in mind. Like, even the strongest people need support too.
Right.
They need that love and that hug. And I'm guilty of that too. Like, my mom and my friends are super strong, so when they are going through, it's just like, oh no, what do I do? Because you're the one I'm looking to. So how do I help in this instance? But that definitely makes me mindful that I need to do more too.
Right. And not only that, but I say, and don't dismiss when they do cry out for help.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of times the strong friend will say something and then you be like, girl, you be okay. And they're like, I literally just said I'm not okay.
Right.
Like, I literally just said that. So
That's
like,
what I was telling my sister. I'm going through what I'm going through, and no, I'm not okay. I might need that hug.
Right.
I don't need you to tell me, oh, don't worry about it because it's going to be all right. Glad he gone, or whatever the situation is. That's not what I want to hear right now.
Right,
What
yeah.
I want to hear is, you okay? I got your back. Here's a hug. I'm on my way.
Right.
We gonna do this cry thing.
Exactly.
This ugly cry.
Yeah, we gonna vent.
And your eyes red. You want to go kick his butt? We can go kick his butt. Here go a drink. Let's drink.
Come on, Penny D. Let me tell y'all something.
Listen, girl.
Until you pass out, and then when you get up the next day, you gonna have a headache because of that hangover. But we done hashed this on out.
Right. Exactly.
Here's a hug and a kiss. I'm on my way out. I got to go. Bye.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's what it's really about is your friends just want to know that you have their back. So you can't just be like, all right, girl, you be all right. All right, click. Like, wait a minute. Because when you was going through, I showed up.
Yeah,
I was there. I cried with you.
Exactly.
You know, I was in whatever place you was in because I just didn't want you to be alone in that place.
Right.
So don't leave me alone in this
my
place.
place. Yep. For sure.
You know, I think
For
that's really
sure.
what it's about.
Because even for Thanksgiving, I was going to go and cook, but I think I'm going to stay at home and cook. Me and Nikki discussed it. I'm going to do some gumbo and whatever else I decide to cook for Thanksgiving, but I think I want to be with my kids and my grandkids for Thanksgiving.
Oh, good. I'm glad you decided that. I was thinking of a plan. Like, okay, what I'm going to do if that works.
Alrighty.
Your
So
favorite thing, like you always do, come to the house and sit on the couch with the remote. Is the food ready yet? Here's Chanel.
Yeah. Yep. That was my plan.
see, what y'all got to do is make it at her house and make her cook. That's what my family started doing. And now your ankle gonna be swole and it's gonna be wrapped up because you've been cooking for 2 days. Isn't it crazy how you never realize like how
The work that goes into it.
Why they ankle always swole?
Right,
Well,
like-
you've been standing up for 2 days
No.
peeling potatoes.
I actually took
Listen.
the whole week off. I'm off the Thursday and Friday, Wednesday and Thursday. But I took Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday off too.
Oh, nice. Nope. Oh, no.
Okay,
We'll
so
see.
what goes in the to-go box?
This was a really great conversation. Again, thanks, Mom,
Oh,
for
you're
being
welcome.
here. It's
Yes.
great. Yeah, we talked about a lot, but I think the one thing that's sticking out to me is let's start rebuilding the Black family. I think we need to start there, and reaching out for help. And, you know, since my insurance kicked in, I'm really excited to find a therapist myself. Like, I'm ready to get
You
that
wilding
started.
out since you got this new
Listen, get insurance and get a new job and just do everything. But I'm really looking forward to finding a therapist because, you know, it was great to have this conversation right now and hearing things from my mom's perspective and then her, like, learning things from me. But I think that we still need to have an outside source kind of come in and be that listening ear as well. So hopefully we get some family therapy going on because, you know,
We need it.
we do need it. And I think that that's most important, to stop keeping everything so in-house or hush-hush or, you know, don't make it seem like we crazy or stuff like that because, you know, unfortunately things happen.
Yeah.
And it's best to talk about those things. So
Yes.
that's what I'm taking away.
Yes. Okay. Mama Penny, what are your takeaways?
What are my takeaways? I'm with my daughter here. So, yes, we do need family therapy. And I was just talking about that to one of my little cousins that called. And he's writing this book on our family. And unfortunately, it's sad that he'll call me instead of calling, which would be his great uncle. It's my uncle, but it's his great uncle, to ask questions about, you know, certain things or certain people in the family. He'll call me and he'll go like, "Cuz, well, I just found a cousin in North Carolina. He did that Ancestry.com and, you know, DNA stuff. And somebody popped up with our family DNA. And she got in touch with him. So my takeaway is, like Chanel said, just bringing the family back together. I'm trying to put together a family reunion for us in 2019 because there's too many of us still here, but we're all separated.
Spread out. Yeah.
So that's my takeaway, to try to bring our family back together and get us a little bit more, you know, close togetherness, because we don't have that in my family.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, I think it's never too late.
No.
You know what I mean? Because I think that, you know, when I was in my 20s, I was like, when I was with a guy for like 6 years, I was just like, oh no, this is it. Like, you know, then I thought the same thing in my 30s, like, this is it.
Oh no.
And then, you know, it sounds like that's what you were thinking. You were like, you know, I'm about to
This
be
is it.
60. Like, this is it. But it's like, you know what? It's never too late to just start over. And to, if something is negatively affecting you, you know, we went through those 5 questions. Just like, you know what? I'm worth more. You know? At 60, at 70, I will look. You gonna respect me?
Hey,
So,
you got to. Listen,
look, I will pull a switcheroo on you.
For real.
You got to go.
For real.
Yes, and then like I said, just realizing that if somebody, just because somebody doesn't see your worth, doesn't mean that it's not there.
Mm-hmm.
So that means they're blind.
Hey, and you can't be the contacts for them or whatever. Like, hey, it is what it is.
Alrighty. Well, thanks for tuning in to Brunch with Besties podcast. Until next time.
Peace. Thanks, guys, for listening to Brunch with Besties podcast. Be sure to find us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, now YouTube, and Google Play. Basically, we airware. Don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes. Leave us a review and rate us. We would so appreciate that. Also, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to find us on Twitter. Our handle is BrunchWBesties. On IG, you can find us at Brunch with Besties Podcast. And if you'd like, you can shoot us an email. Our Gmail is brunchwithbestiespodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Peace.